Hey, Coach, what's happening, man? Congrats on the win.
Chip making his way over to our set, and appreciate him on his way out here, especially considering Nick Galeotti decided to skip out on a
I'm looking
family.
for Nick.
He's at a party right now.
On a family wedding. Nick.
Nick does not come here.
But you know what? Now,
no, Nick coached here. He's a defensive coordinator, one of the best years I ever had in this school.
And well, the one interesting thing is, and Nick has been firing off text messages as this game has continued to unfold. Congratulations on the victory. We got to spend some time with you this week, and I think the one thing that I think we all took away from the meeting was this idea of experience for a young football team, and probably needing to understand what it takes to continue to win. What stood out to you in the performance, especially on the offensive side?
Well, I think we've established that with Josh, and I think with a young offensive group, we can run the football. And when you can do that, a lot of things can come off of that. I think Dorian has played really, really well in complementing, with his legs and what he can help us with in the run game. And everybody's just, the more at-bats they get, the better they play. And it's, you can't manufacture those. And when you have a young team, it's almost like we wish we played, can we play another game? You want to keep playing. And we're starting to get some kids back healthy. Martell Irby played tonight. Casmar Allen played tonight. So we're starting to get some kids back healthy. At this time, people are losing people. We're actually getting healthier as this goes along. So, but when you're young, we have 87 freshmen and sophomores. So it's pretty cool to watch the baby Bruins kind of grow up in front of you. So they've gotten better. They played well even in the two games we lost in conference. We lost on a field goal at the end of the game against Arizona. And then we fought back when we spotted Oregon State, did a really good job, jumped on us at 21-0, and then we scored 31 points. But it was too little too late because we couldn't get back in the game then. So I think our guys are learning how to play football. And in this league, you can't turn the ball over, and you have to play well on teams. And I think we'll continue to harp on that.
Coach, we were there at Washington State when you guys had that huge comeback. And even comparing that game where you scored 67 points, this game seemed to be a lot cleaner from beginning to end. And I'm curious, is your team hitting its stride right now, not just offensively, but defensively as well?
I think, when you look at our defense, they gave up 10, but we put the ball down on the inside the 10-yard line. That was their only touchdown on the day. They had a big stop when they had the ball down and tight in the red zone, and we got them to back them up, and they only had a field goal out of the thing. So I think, from what they did in the Stanford game, and they can build upon it, and then what they did in this game, they can build upon it. But we also have to learn how to finish games. It got a little bit too tight there at the end, but, deep down inside, that's a good thing. We got a lot to teach when we get back on Monday and get a chance to look at the film and go over it with these guys. And that's what this process is all about. Whether you win or lose, you got 24 hours to feel good or bad about yourself, and then we got to get better. And there's a lot of tape because we got a lot of at-bats today. I don't know how many plays we ran on offense, but I know there was a lot when we got a chance to there's almost 50 in the first half. So we got a lot of film to look at and a lot of corrections we can make, and that's a fun part of coaching. So.
80.
80's good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I thought
good.
your quarterback was really good, too. Ted and I were kind of geeking out. 2-minute drill.
Yeah.
It's the check down all the way across to Irby, let alone the corner route on the touchdown.
Yeah.
Curious what you thought of his performance in terms of the command of what you're asking him to do, and of course, how is he doing?
Well, he's good, I think. I just talked to him briefly in the locker room, and we'll find out, obviously, from the doctors, but he didn't seem like he was scared about anything. So, but I think one of the keys in football in the hidden game is the 8-minute game, which is the last 4 minutes of the first half and the second 4 minutes of the 4 minutes of the second half. And we scored at the end of the first half on a real nice 2-minute drive, and then we came out and drove the length of the field and scored at the start. So that's a 14-point swing that kind of you go from 21 to 28 to 35, and I think and you needed it in this game, so it was huge. But I think it's what we coach and talk about. We spend a lot of time on 2-minute drill with our guys. We do it a ton. We do it in 7-on-7. We do it in team, and it's something that we feel we've worked a lot on. And so when you get to see it, manifest itself on the field, you're really happy with how we did it.
Chip, there's a lot of programs that use technology. Just being on campus the last couple of days, I think it was pretty unique. The things that you measure as a team, they're fired up for you, Chip. But the things that they're measuring, that you guys as a staff are measuring, I think are really impressive in how you evaluate your players. Curious, though, from like a heart standpoint, when you watch your guys, like how are you measuring just kind of the feel of your team? Because when we had Josh Kelly and Chris Barnes on set, it's like, hey, you guys have had some rough moments this season, but there's like this resiliency that we're seeing on the football field. Like, is there something that you watch when at practice or in the game where you go, our guys are still fighting here?
We talk about body language and, kind of how they present themselves and obviously, things can happen to you, but what you control is your response to what happens to you. So, we're trying to teach life lessons through football, and it's something that's going to help them, not only in games, but it's going to help them in life. And when you kind of face adversity, I think when any good team I've been on, they kind of embrace it. They're like, all right, bring it on. Let's go. Let's kind of find out what we're made of. And I think that's what Saturdays are for us. They're a test. We're going to prepare as hard as we can all week long, and then you have no idea how it's going to express itself. I've been in games when, I played in the national championship game against Auburn, and it was us against Gus Malzahn. It was going to be the highest scoring game ever. It was 22-19. Both defenses, their defense played unbelievable. Our defense played unbelievable. And everybody was like, what happened? Me and Gus should have taken the night off because we didn't do anything. But our defensive guys, and that's what happens in football. You have no idea what's going to happen. But when it's presented to yourself, how do you respond to it? And I think what we can control is our response, and our guys are doing a really good job of that.
Well, Coach, you'd mentioned you actually, as most teams are getting more banged up, you seem to be getting healthier.
We do.
Josh Kelly was sitting here, and I asked him, is he feeling better than he has all season? And if so, that means the rest of the conference is going to be in trouble. I mean, his improvement throughout the season as he's gotten healthier, I mean, is that really what's been the catalyst to this, what this renaissance that we've seen?
Yeah, Josh is awesome. But, I think him getting hurt and us missing him at the beginning of the season, affected us. He didn't play in the Cincinnati game and barely played against San Diego State. And but when you watch him, he can lower his pads. He kind of sets the tone for us on the offensive side of the ball. And you're right, he is getting fresher. And you watch him, he's starting to play faster and starting to play a little bit quicker, and he's starting to hit things a little bit quicker. He's a guy that needs reps, and when he gets his reps, that's going to manifest itself. So hopefully that's something that carries over for us. We got really a one-game season coming up against Colorado. Then we have an open date, and that's kind of how we'll approach this thing.
Ted and I are stoked. We're going to call that game again next
weekend.
Weekend. We're back. You can't
Can we get the game at noon?
No,
Can we change?
We don't have that kind of juice.
Ted does.
Ted has a ton of juice. I agree with that.
I used to think Nick does, but Nick doesn't have any.
No. He's at a wedding, probably dancing the Macarena right now. But I'm curious for you. I think it's really fun to ask coaches to go inside your mind for a second. The tight end delay for a touchdown to Devin Asiasi. Yeah. Dorian Thompson-Robinson spins away from somebody rushing him and just kind of launches it, trusting he's going to be there. He did that a couple times tonight. Yeah. But what are you thinking? What are you saying as that plays?
We were trying to get the right look, and we got it. And Dev made a great play, and Dorian knows it's a play where he's going to have to hold it to the last second and then put it up, and did it. We've run it a couple times this year, and it's been a play that's been good for us. But it's because we have confidence based on demonstrated ability. I've seen him do it over and over again. When we have red zone days, and we're working on those things. And I thought it was a big play for us. Kind of got the momentum back on our side, and so to speak. But I think what we're seeing right now is when we see games being played, our players are sinking to their level of training, and they're training at a really high level right now. So we're playing at a really high level.
Yeah, at least 31 points in the last 4 out of the last 5 games, and yes, the baby Bruins are growing up before our eyes here. Chip, congratulations on the win. Appreciate the access that you gave us this entire week, and appreciate you coming outside.
Thanks.